Good morning, good afternoon, wherever you happen to be watching from. I appreciate you being here. It's the CJ Curry Show, sponsored by PrizePicks. If you don't play on PrizePicks yet, you should, because it's making daily fantasy sports easy. You just pick your favorite sport, your favorite athletes. Choose if they'll go for more or less than their projection. Parlay them 2, 3, 4, 5 picks at a time. Win up to 10 times your money. All right, that's how it works. Promo code Curry, still getting you that 100% instant deposit match on your first deposit, all the way up to $100. Take advantage. Link down in the description below. If you are not playing on PrizePicks yet, you need to be. All right. Shout out to everybody in the chat. I see a lot of folks up in here. Make sure you subscribe to the channel with notifications turned on. A lot of you are asking, hey, when do you go live these days? Well, it's 12 p.m. Eastern time. Monday through Friday, typically. Maybe I'll make an appearance on the weekend from time to time, but I got to take some time off at some point, right? I've got a real life. I've got family, friends outside of this whole thing here on YouTube. But typically Monday through Friday, 12 p.m. Eastern time is when you can catch me right here on YouTube. So definitely make sure you subscribe, notifications turned on. Hit that like button as well. We've surpassed 100 likes back-to-back days in a row. 2 days in a row. Let's keep the streak going. I'm setting the line at 99.5 likes. Of course, I think we're going to go for more than 99.5 likes. I know you guys got my back, just like I got your back, right? Appreciate everybody for being here, though. Great turnout. NBA's back. It's been a lot of fun getting back into hoops, and I hope you guys are having fun as well. Last night went pretty well. I think we talked about, 5 or more plays on yesterday's show. We ended up hitting 3 out of 4, I want to say, because Miles Turner ended up being a late game scratch. Cole Anthony, another guy who was not supposed to miss any time, but ended up being a late game scratch as well. I guess he was under the weather. Things like that happen. It's important that you stay on top of the NBA news, especially right around tip-off, which is typically 7 p.m. Eastern time. So news can definitely open up some value. I ended up jumping on Franz Wagner over 14 points once Cole Anthony was ruled out. So that's a piece of news that ended up helping me out. But I did jump on Kristaps Porzingis once Miles Turner was ruled out. I had Porzingis for more than 18.5 points. Did not end up working out for me. So it doesn't always work out, but if you could be flexible and be ready to kind of jump on a particular player once a guy is ruled out, you can make some money that way. That's a good strategy in the NFL, NBA, any sport that you're playing. News can really open up value. It's all about value. So shout out to ZXR Skills. He said he hit 9 out of 10 props yesterday. Wow, fantastic. That's a 90% hit rate, my friend. Congratulations to you. High Flyer, shout out to you. He says, yo, Curry, can't wait for the games to start. Hope you have a great day. You as well, my friend. Thank you for being here. Quepid 101 says, let's run those likes up. You flex, I flex back. Thanks for the reminder to run those likes up. Roy's in the building. Let's go, Roy. Gib, shout out to you. Glad to have you in the building, Gib. Thanks for being back in the Patreon gang. Todd, Live for Sunday, says, good morning, CJ. Big night for me. Let's do it again. All right, let's run it back. Kyle's in the building. Shout out to Kyle. Effing Props Guy, one of our Patreon members. He's holding it down for the NHL stuff. So if you're looking for a community, a group of people, like-minded individuals, no ego, no drama, no BS, right? Just a group of people who are trying to help one another win. The Patreon is the way to go. It's just $20 a month. It helps support what I do here for you guys daily on YouTube. Plus, you get access to a kick-butt community of other like-minded people who are playing on PrizePicks, playing on other sites, and all about that prop life. So, yeah, shout out to effing Props Guy holding things down for the NHL. Anthony Edwards says, damn, I lost last night. Oh, that's not good. We got another night tonight, though. Let's try to bounce back, right? Mike from the 4, shout out to you. Real King says, yo, Matt Hubert's in the building. Yesterday was successful other than Miles being ruled out. All right, let's ride with some more fire picks. Appreciate that. No Clouts in the building. What's y'all's pick for tonight? Well, stay tuned. I'm sure the chat will spit out some fire picks as they typically do. Will Charles says, what's up, CJ? I'm here live today. Thanks for being here, Will. Appreciate you. Everyday Fantasy, what's up? Bronze in the building. Success yesterday. We like success. Congrats on the success yesterday. OJ Osmosis Jones says, what's up? Guess it's about time to come back home. Come back home. Come back home, my friend. The community is awaiting for you. Just open the door. We're here, buddy. We're still doing our thing. Brock says, day 3. Rumsey's in the building. I'm loving that rookie Magic have. He's good. Are you talking about Paolo Banchero? Yeah, Banchero's looking like the truth. He had himself a fantastic debut. Shout out to Mike Gurley, one of our Patreon members. I see you, my friend. Lord De Niro's in the building. He needs Patreon. We all need Patreon. All right. Well, I appreciate all y'all being here. Once again, the support, the turnout from you guys has been tremendous. And, I wouldn't be doing what I'm doing if it wasn't for you. So thank you. Thank you. Let's keep the support going. Let's get into things today. We got Purdle. We're going to solve for Purdle. Then we'll take a look at tonight's 2-game NBA slate. That's right. Just 2 games, 4 teams, but a lot of different ways we could go. So we'll break things down. We've got the Milwaukee Bucks taking on the Philadelphia 76ers, the Los Angeles Lakers, in a battle for LA versus the Los Angeles Clippers. So we'll get into all of that. But yeah, let's start things off with Purdle. We've been doing pretty well with Purdle. We've solved it for the last couple of days. I'd like us to solve it with fewer guesses, get a little quicker with it. But we're going to go ahead and try to knock it out right now. So first guess, I don't know. We got LeBron James playing tonight. We got Kawhi. Let's go with Kawhi Leonard. We're going to punch Kawhi Leonard's name in here and see if that leads us anywhere. Oh, well, that wasn't that great of a guess, but we did get a couple of hits on there. It's not Kawhi Leonard, not a member of the Clippers. This player does not play in the West, so we got to think about the Eastern Conference when it comes to this particular player. Not a forward. Height, shorter than 6'7", so I'm kind of thinking maybe we're dealing with a point guard here. He's younger than 31 years old, whoever this mystery player is, and he wears jersey number 2. So we got that much. All right, so where do we go from here? Well, we know it's an Eastern Conference player, shorter guy, under 6'7". What about this kid? We haven't seen him yet. He's been sidelined with an injury. LaMelo Ball. I believe he does wear number 2. Oh, no, he wears number 1. My bad. LaMelo used to wear number 2, right? He changed it to number 1. I think that was the situation. Anyway, we know this guy plays in the East. We know now that he is a guard. We know that he's shorter than 6'7", pretty close to 6'7", could be 6'5", 6'6", 21 years old. So we're dealing with a young player here whose jersey number is number 2. What are you guys guessing here? Let's see what the chat says. You say, guess Paolo Banchero. Well, no, it wouldn't be Banchero. Banchero's wearing number 5 this season, number 5, so it can't be Banchero. Roy says, how about Ivica Zubac? Well, he's out on the West Coast, so it cannot be Zubac, and we know that this is now a guard. Zubac, obviously a center. Lonzo Ball. Lonzo Ball, maybe LaMelo's brother, Lonzo. Let's try Lonzo Ball out, because I think Lonzo does wear number 2. Okay, all right, we're getting somewhere. We're close. A lot of green. The only thing we didn't get right is the player and the age, but Eastern Conference Central Division is a guard, is 6'6" on the dot, and does wear jersey number 2. So we got a lot of greens with the Lonzo Ball guess. A lot of folks are in here saying Lonzo's too old. He's 24, still a young man, but I'm seeing a lot of Cade Cunningham guesses. I think you guys might be onto something. I think you might be right. Oh, I mean, look at the silhouette, guys. Look at the silhouette. Is that not Cade Cunningham's broccoli-headed looking self? I think that's Cade Cunningham. I think you guys might be onto something. If it ain't Cade Cunningham, well, dang, I don't know who it could be. But if that ain't Cade Cunningham, let's go with it. Cade. Bang. Bang. Mike Breen. Bang. It's Cade Cunningham. You guys are right. Shout out to whoever first mentioned Cade Cunningham. You were on the money. That was definitely Cade Cunningham. Once we brought that silhouette up, there was no mistaking it. That was definitely Cade Cunningham. Shout out to you guys. We got it done in 4 guesses today. I think we just set a new record here. Appreciate you guys. Pat yourself on the backs for guessing Cade Cunningham correctly. All right, let's move over to today's NBA slate. Shout out to everybody who's just getting here. All the new subscribers, appreciate you guys subscribing as well. We're shooting up there, guys. We're at 6,250. We're on our way to 10K. That's the big goal, the long-term goal, 10,000. So let's run through some notes real quick. Key NBA news to watch. LeBron James dealing with a foot injury. He's probable. He'll be playing. Anthony Davis back. He's probable. He'll be playing too. Reggie Jackson's groin. He'll be probable. I expect all those guys to play. I'm not really worried about that. Projected lineup for the Milwaukee Bucks tonight. We got Drew Holiday, Grayson Allen, Wes Matthews, Giannis, and Brook Lopez, meaning no Chris Middleton. He's still sidelined. No Pat Connaughton. And Joe Ingles is injured as well. So they're missing 3 key wing pieces, right? That means Grayson Allen, Wes Matthews are going to have to step up, probably play more minutes. You got Nwora coming off of the bench. But yeah, like it says here, due to the lack of wing depth, the Bucks starting front court could feature all 3 of Brook Lopez, Bobby Portis, and Giannis. So you might see Giannis slide down to the 3 spot. Maybe Bobby P plays a little bit more at the 4, power forward. Wes Matthews, Jordan Nwora as the top reserves. Drew Holiday has a 4.8% usage differential without Chris Middleton last season, while Giannis didn't really see much of an increase. So that's something to keep in mind. Drew Holiday's usage goes up by almost 5 points without Chris Middleton in the lineup. For the Philadelphia 76ers, James Harden, Tyrese Maxey, Tobias Harris, PJ Tucker, and Joel Embiid. Luckily for us, we've already seen the Philadelphia 76ers play once this season, so we got a little bit of a glimpse of maybe what we can expect from Philly. For the Clippers, it looks like it's going to be Reggie Jackson, not John Wall. Reggie Jackson is going to be starting at point guard. John Wall coming off of the bench. Paul George, Kawhi Leonard, Marcus Morris, and Ivica Zubac. So pretty much that same starting 5 that they've ran in the past. It'll be good to see the Claw, Kawhi Leonard, back out on the floor. Looking at the Los Angeles Lakers projected lineup, we saw Russ, Pat Bev, Lonnie Walker, LeBron James, Anthony Davis. I would probably say that the starting lineup is going to remain unchanged from the last game. Probably going to run with the same 5 this game. So be on the lookout for that, but I don't really see any issues or any reason why these guys would sit out. It's a highly anticipated matchup between the Los Angeles Lakers and the Los Angeles Clippers, so I expect all the stars to be ready and willing to play. Just quickly taking a look at the game totals for both of these games since we got time today, being that there's only 2 games going on. The total for the Milwaukee-Philly game is 223.5. Pretty decent total. Wish it was a little bit higher. Then you've got a 4-point spread, which is favoring the Philadelphia 76ers. So they expect Philly to win, being at home. So decent total with 223.5. And the game looks like it's going to stay close and competitive according to the spread set by Vegas. Now the later game, 225.5, slightly higher, 2-point higher total on that one. So maybe a few more points are scored. And then you got a 5.5-point spread. So a greater spread on that one, meaning this one could creep into potential blowout territory. We'll just have to see. Lakers did get their butts whooped the other night by the Golden State Warriors, but maybe they figure things out against a Los Angeles Clippers team who were probably going to take a couple of games to get their chemistry back, right? These guys haven't played together a whole lot this season, but there you go. That's the rundown of tonight's 2-game NBA slate. Now we're going to approach things a little bit differently today. Obviously, we'll be talking prize picks and we'll be looking at props.cash, of course. So we're going to run through the board. Being that there's only 2 games, we can go pretty in depth with a lot of this stuff. We'll be using props.cash, obviously, to help us with our player prop research. One thing that I'm going to be taking a deep dive into is how things shake out when Jrue Holiday's not in the lineup. I already mentioned to you guys, he gets about a 5% increase in usage rate. So I think I want to start there with the Milwaukee Bucks. If you guys have any picks that you're liking, drop them in the chat. I'd be happy to, start looking at those for you as well. But yeah, I can definitely see a situation where you're going to get more usage out of Jrue Holiday. We don't really see a ton of usage for Giannis Antetokounmpo. So maybe we look at some of these role players, your Brook Lopez types, your Bobby Portis types, Grayson Allen, another guy who could be a potential difference maker with Chris Middleton, Pat Connaughton, and Joe Ingles out of the lineup tonight. So let's start taking a look at some of these Milwaukee Bucks guys. I see Roy's already mentioning one. Giannis for more than 17.5 rebounds and assists. We could definitely take a look at that one. Appreciate you, Roy, for leaving that one for us to take a gander at. We're going to go show last season here. We want to see as many games as possible. Still kind of relying on last season's data to help us with this season's decisions on whether to go more or less on a lot of these picks. So he's got Giannis going for more than 17.5 rebounds plus assists. Let's go ahead and pull that one up. So Giannis covered this in 49% of his games last season. He was 39 for 79, gang. That's about a coin flip. So that's not a great hit rate necessarily. Now, what happens when we take Chris Middleton out of the lineup? Well, we could do that using props.cash. So if we remove Chris Middleton from the equation, you get a sample size of 19 games from last season in which he played without Chris Middleton. So maybe his usage doesn't go up, but he does have a better hit rate without Middleton around. 11 for 19 at 17.5 rebounds plus assists. So that's not bad, right? It went up from 49% to 58%. Taking a look at games against Philly, he played 1 game without Chris Middleton against the 76ers, ended up with 20 rebounds and assists in that game. Let's put Chris Middleton back on the floor here and just see how Giannis did in general versus Philadelphia. Well, he hit 20 rebounds plus assists in every single game against the Sixers, so I could see why this is a popular play today. 3 for 3 against Philly last season covering this prop, and he did so pretty handedly with 20 rebounds and assists in those games. So let's fast forward here. We're going to take a look at some projections, and we're going to be using Fantasy Labs, obviously, to do that as we have in the past. Giannis is projected for about 17.3 rebounds plus assists. So that's a pretty tight number, I guess you could say. Pretty tight number. Let's just double check here on Prize Picks. Yep, Giannis is still sitting at 17.5. So there you go. Still at 17.5, just like he is on the sports books. I'll tell you this, you're getting a little bit of value here because Over on FanDuel Sportsbook, he's at 18.5 rebounds plus assists. So we're getting him at 17.5 on PrizePicks. That 1 point, that makes all the difference in the world. See Jimmy Butler's PRA last night. Jimmy Butler finished with 35 points, rebounds, and assists. His line was set at 35.5 on PrizePicks. We took less on that prop, and it ended up coming through for us. Now, there were some sites, some books that had him at 34.5 PRA, and he would have went over on that number. So sometimes that 1 point makes all the difference in the world. So you're seeing a 1 point difference versus a reputable site, sportsbook like FanDuel, who has him up at 18.5. At 18.5, the public is taking the under on this particular prop. So you're seeing an over at 17.5, but an under at 18.5, a projection of 17.3. So this could really go anywhere from 17 to 18 from the looks of things. What other picks are you guys liking? Leave them in the live chat for me. Appreciate everybody who's just now joining me. The first pick that we have discussed so far is Giannis Antetokounmpo for more than his 17.5 rebound and assist line. You guys let me know what else you're liking. Blake is saying Giannis over points. Giannis over points. He's got a pretty big point line at 30.5. That's a lot of points. My man needs at least 31. So while we're talking all things Giannis Antetokounmpo, let's go ahead and take a look at that points line and see what he's done over the last season or so. So if we bump it to the Sixers last season. So doing a pretty good job against Philly, racking up points, racking up rebounds, racking up assists. Maybe we just go the PRA route, right? Roy's liking the rebounds and assists. Blake's liking the points. Maybe we just combine the three and go PRA. That could be a good way to go. All right, so we talked about kind of a low hit rate at 30.5 points for Giannis, just 43%. What happens when we take Chris Middleton out of the equation? Because Chris Middleton will not be out there, obviously, nor will Pat Connaughton. So we take Chris Middleton out, and you see Giannis is just at 42%. He's not really scoring a whole lot of points. That many more points. His hit rate doesn't go up. At 30.5 without Chris Middleton, averaging 29.4 points per game without his wingman, Chris Middleton. So there you go. He did have one game against Philadelphia without Chris Middleton where he dropped 31 points. So you might be talking about a little bit of a sweat here. A little bit of a sweat on this particular prop. Let's go back here. What happens if we take Pat Connaughton and Chris Middleton off the floor? Do we have any game logs for that? We don't. We've never seen Giannis take the floor, at least in the past season, without Connaughton and Middleton. So blank. No game logs to look at. So we'll put both of these guys back on the floor and just take a quick look at a projection for you on Giannis's points while we're talking Giannis. And he's projected for 31.5 on your favorite sports books. You're seeing him at 30.5. You're seeing him at 31.5. At 30.5, it looks like the public is betting the over. So we're getting 1 point of value once again. 1 point of value on Giannis's point line at 30.5 here on PrizePicks. At 31.5, some sites you're seeing him as a betting favorite. A lot of sites you're seeing people taking the under at 31.5. So that 1 point sometimes can make all the difference in the world. So Blake's liking Giannis for more than 30.5 points. Roy is liking Giannis for more than 17.5 rebounds and assists. So again, maybe we just go PRA, and that's the route. Maybe that's the move, right? Let's see here. What else are you guys talking about here in the chat? Talk to me. Talk to me. What you got? I'll look at whatever you got for me to look at here. Osmosis Jones is saying, what about Brolo? Big Brook Lopez and his rebounds at 4.5. Now, historically, I will say this. Brook Lopez has not been a great rebounder. For as big as he is, big old 7-foot Brook Lopez does not rebound the basketball at a very high clip. Now, if they're talking about playing more lines where Brook Lopez is going to be alongside the likes of Bobby Portis and Giannis, I mean, rebound opportunities might be even more slim for Brook Lopez. I don't know how that's going to shake out. You basically got three guys who are around 7 feet tall in the lineup together. And again, Brook Lopez, not the most aggressive guy when it comes to getting on the glass. So 4.5 rebounds, it seems low. It does seem low. I'll give you that. But maybe it's deceiving. If Milwaukee runs with that sort of that 3 big lineup, again, Lopez, Portis, and Giannis, then maybe there just won't be a lot of rebound opportunities for Brook Lopez. But looking back at last season, at 4.5 rebounds, he's 56%. 56%. So not a lot of game logs here, 14 out of 25. He didn't play a whole lot. He was injured for some of the season, kind of didn't play a whole lot in the preseason, played a couple of games, made a couple of appearances. Taking a look at what he did against Philly, he was 0 for 1 against Philadelphia at 4.5 rebounds. He had just 3 boards back on March 29th. So 0 for 1 against Philadelphia. Now, do things change? Do they improve for Brook Lopez without Chris Middleton, without Pat Connaughton on the floor? I would say probably not a whole lot, but let's take a look. 8 for 12, 67%, averaging 5.8 rebounds in games played without Chris Middleton. I guess that's a decent look. I guess you could go there. Has he played in any games without Middleton and Connaughton? None. Well, what if we put Middleton back on the floor and we just leave Connaughton off? What happens? Let's see. Pat Connaughton. He's played 2 games without Pat Connaughton, 1 rebound and 2 rebounds. So, there you go. I thought I'd take a look at it for you guys. Brook Lopez's projected rebounds. Let's go find out what Fantasy Labs has him projected for. He's projected for 4.7 rebounds, slightly more than his line at 4.5. As far as the other sports books out there, they've also got him at 4.5. We're seeing a lot of money coming in on the over. Minus 140, minus 145 betting favorite to go for more than 4.5 rebounds. Guys, I don't know. Not my favorite prop. Are you liking this one? Guys, if you're liking it, leave a thumbs up in the chat. If you're not liking it, you're just going to fade it for whatever reason, feel free to put the thumbs down or fade it. It's up to you. But I don't think I'm going to go there, man. I don't think I'm going to go there. But that was one that Blake liked. Or I'm sorry. That's one that, who liked that? Who mentioned that one? Oh, Osmosis Jones. There you go. He liked the over or more than 4.5 rebounds. Still focused on this Milwaukee-Philadelphia game. We haven't had any Philadelphia props come out yet. What are you guys liking from the Philly side of things? I got James Harden, Jeremiah liking James Harden to go over on points. All right, let's take a look at the beard. He made the thumbnail today. He is the featured thumbnail player. He's at 22.5 points. Of course, James Harden came out with a strong game 1 with 35 points against Boston, but he's going up against Milwaukee tonight. Does he draw Drew Holiday on defense, or is he going to see the likes of Grayson Allen or Wes Matthews? I mean, Wes Matthews or Drew Holiday would be difficult matchups for James Harden, but if you were to get Grayson Allen by some lucky draw, well, I think that would be a lot better situation for the beard. So let's take a look at James Harden here. First prop that we've discussed that's on the Philadelphia side of things. You guys have gone Milwaukee heavy so far. At 22.5 points, James Harden last year, 40% hit rate. Just a 40% hit rate. He faced Milwaukee total of 3 times, 32 points against Milwaukee on March 29th. The other 2 games, just 20 and 16. I believe those games did come when he was a member of the Brooklyn Nets still. Pre-Philadelphia James Harden, I think, in those 2 games. All right, so we don't have a lot to go on here. Like, yeah, he had a good, strong game 1. 35 points against Boston, played over 37 minutes, shot the ball 14 times, went 9 for 14, 5 for 9 from beyond the arc, got to the free throw line 12 times. It was 12 for 12. Do we think he gets those types of calls tonight? Because 12 of his points came from the charity stripe. All right. So if he's going to get those referees blowing their whistles for him like he did it in his first game, well then, yeah, 22.5 points is probably something that he could blow by easily, right? Let's jump ahead here, take a look at a projection for this particular prop. You guys are asking about it. He's projected for 20.2 points, which is less than 22.5, right? More than 2 points less, in fact. At 22.5 points across the different sports books, we're seeing a lot of mixed signals here. We're seeing some sites where people are putting their money on the over. We're seeing some sites where people are putting their money on the under. So we've got a torn betting public on this prop for James Harden at 22.5. I don't know if I'm such a believer yet in Harden. Yeah, the game that he had last game against Boston, 35 points, super impressive. I just don't know, especially if he draws Drew Holiday on defense. I just don't know if I'm on this yet. I'm not on it yet. I need to see a little bit more. So Jeremiah, I don't know. I'm going to try and look for something else. Blake says, you guys need to get on the Patreon. I picked up several winning picks from the Discord last night. Appreciate you, Blake. Thanks for the support. Thanks for being a member of the community as well. Roy's coming back with another one. Grayson Allen over points plus assists. He's at 11.5. Let's take a look at Grayson Allen points plus assists real quick. We're actually getting him at 10.5 right now here on PrizePicks. So Roy's seeing him at 11.5, and Roy's liking the over at 11.5, but we're getting him at 10.5. So we're getting 1 point of value, I guess you could say, on this particular prop. So let's go take a look at the points and assists for Grayson Allen. He is going to be somebody that you would think would have to step up. He'd have to Hey, time out. I know y'all just saw what happened. Time out. Grayson Allen was just at 10.5 points plus assists on PrizePicks. The projection literally just changed as I clicked on it, opened it, and started talking about it. Hey, all I got to say is if you're watching this show and you see something you like, jump on that ASAP. Because these props will be moving. This is the most influential PrizePicks live stream in the world. Let's just be honest and call it what it is. Lines move. We talk about things and lines move. That's just the way it is. It happened all season, last NBA season. It's going to happen again this season. We just witnessed it right here, right now, live and in living color. That sucker just jumped from 10.5 up to 11.5. Anyway, all right, we'll talk about it at 11.5. The 10.5 would have been sweet, but we ain't got that type of luxury anymore. They went ahead and moved it on us. I don't know if we're making that happen or what, but at 10.5, he's at 56% hit rate. At 11.5, he still maintains a good 53% hit rate. So it drops a couple percentage points, but still looking pretty good at 53%. Now, what happens when we take Chris Middleton out of the equation? Well, when Chris Middleton's not there, at 11.5 points plus assists, we've got a guy hitting at a 70% hit rate. For the bulk of last season, he did really well, crushing this number, right? 18, 24, 21, 28, 21, 25, 27. So you can kind of see what he can do. Now, he did have his struggles. Some of these games, he just wasn't even there. I mean, 1 point, 4, 8, 4, 6. So most of the time he does really well. 70%, 7 out of 10. We'll take that. Averaging 15.3 points plus assists without Chris Middleton around. Against Philadelphia, one game played without Middleton, he had 28 points plus assists. So he absolutely crushed. Whether you got him at 10.5 or 11.5, he would have crushed both of those numbers, right? And then taking a look, we'll add Chris Middleton back to the equation here. Taking a look at 11.5. 2 different games against Philadelphia. This one was without Middleton. This one was with Middleton. He only had 10. Still came pretty close, but the fact that Middleton will be out tonight definitely impacts Grayson Allen in a positive way. We saw those hit rates go up quite a bit. So let's get you a projection here. What is Fantasy Labs projecting for Grayson Allen? Well, they got him at 11.3. Gang, we are seeing him as high as 13.5 points plus assists on your favorite sports book. 13.5 versus 11.5 is still tremendous value. 2 points of value there. So even at 11.5, I don't hate this. I think it looks very doable at 11.5. If you got the 10.5, guys, congratulations. You got yourself even better value. But even at 11.5, this is looking pretty juicy. Shout out to Roy for bringing that one to our attention. Any other picks that you guys are liking from this particular game? Philadelphia, Milwaukee. We're still focused on Philadelphia, Milwaukee. If you got something you like, let me know. I'm seeing Joel Embiid mentioned by Jubers. Let's look at that one. Jubers is liking Joel Embiid for more than 26.5 points. He ended the game against Boston with exactly 26. Obviously, against Boston, he's had historically struggles against the Celtics, against Al Horford and company. But Jubers is liking some Joel Embiid for more than 26.5 points against Brook Lopez, Bobby Portis, and Giannis Antetokounmpo. So let's go look at Joel Embiid and see if we could find the right way to go on this particular one. Last season at 26.5, Joel Embiid, 51 for 79, 65% hit rate. That's looking pretty darn good. So that's all of last season and the one game from this season, 65% hit rate. Against the Milwaukee Bucks, well, he absolutely balled out. He balled out, gang. 26.5 points, easy peasy. Lemon squeezy for Joel Embiid. 42 big points back in February. Comes back with 29. So it seems like he does rise to the occasion. Comes up big when he's playing against Giannis Antetokounmpo and the Milwaukee Bucks. So two very strong games, averaging 35.5 points per game in those two contests, right? Let's get your projection on this one and take a look at some of these sports books, right? We got a big old projection on Joel Embiid's points, 31.1. They think he's going to go for more than 30 points tonight against the Milwaukee Bucks. Now, 26.5 out on your favorite sports books. Minus 135, minus 130, minus 125. So some pretty good action coming in on the over. The betting public liking this particular prop here. They're taking the over on Embiid. He's even at 27.5 on a site like FanDuel. So you are getting 1 point of value here on PrizePicks. So that Joel Embiid 26.5, not a bad way to go. I don't hate that. So Jubers, you might be onto something there. You might be onto something. What else we got here? Appreciate everybody for joining. John Appleseed has subscribed to the channel. Thank you, John, for subscribing. Appreciate you doing that. Good to have you here. What up, Mr. Aaron Rodgers? King United says Embiid under points. Guys, leave a thumbs up. Leave a thumbs up in the chat if you're liking Embiid at 26.5. Oh boy, it's happened again. It was 26.5. I mean, you guys saw it. I saw it. The whole world saw it. Everybody watching saw this number at 26.5. It is now 27.5. Lines are a moving, gang. Lines are definitely a moving and a changing. Lil bro, Maori, appreciate you pointing that out. Yeah, if you guys are liking these picks, you got to jump on them because lines are moving. They're moving quickly. Seeing a couple more picks coming from the Philadelphia side of this game. Tobias Harris points being one. AZ24K liking some Tobias Harris points. Liking him to go for more than his points total. David is liking Harden maybe for some dimes. We could take a look at both of those. Let's start with Tobias Harris at just 14.5 points. He had himself a pretty good game the first game, right? 18 points against Boston. Kind of looked like that third wheel. Tyrese Maxey had himself a good game as well. Really, all of the, I guess you can call them the big four for Philadelphia. Their four top players all scored pretty well. Harris, Embiid, Harden, of course, and Tyrese Maxey had himself a pretty good second half. But Tobias Harris at 14.5. Let's go take a look at Toby. Tobias Harris. Both of these teams, by the way, Philadelphia and Milwaukee, thing I like about them is that for the most part, they've maintained sort of the same nucleus, right? They're starting five. Obviously, PJ Tucker's going to be a new addition for Philly. But the Milwaukee Bucks, same situation, have most of the same pieces and parts. I know Chris Middleton's out, but a lot of familiar faces on that Milwaukee Bucks roster. So I like that. Early on in the season, I look for those types of teams to put some money on those types of teams because we kind of know what's going to happen, or we can kind of research better what might happen. Anyway, Tobias Harris last season, total of 86 games, 56 for 86, 65% hit rate. He did pretty darn good covering at 14.5 last season. Against Milwaukee, also did well, 19 and 22 in 2 games against the Bucks, averaged 20.5 points against the Milwaukee Bucks last season. A little trivia for you guys. Some of you hardcore NBA fans might know this, might realize this. the Milwaukee Bucks drafted Tobias Harris. He was once, upon a time, a member of the Milwaukee Bucks. We're going way back. Tobias is a vet, been in the league a while, but he was a Milwaukee Buck at one point in time, until my Orlando Magic traded for him and brought him over to the dark side, to the Orlando Magic side. But yeah, he was a Milwaukee Buck. So maybe he gets a little motivated. Maybe he gets up to play the Milwaukee Bucks, being that that's where he started his career. Maybe he's got a little chip on his shoulder from his days back in the Milwaukee Bucks. But yeah, shout out to Rudy. Rudy, thank you for subscribing to the channel. Appreciate you. But yeah, 14.5 points for Tobias Harris. He covered 2 times against Milwaukee last season. Let's get you a projection here. Tobias Harris, 14.7 projected points. We're seeing him at 14.5 on all your sports books. So not really any difference versus PrizePicks here. 14.5 on your favorite book, 14.5 on PrizePicks. But that may not be a bad way to go. That may not be a bad way to go. He does seem to play well against Milwaukee. So not mad at Tobias Harris for more than 14.5. Yeah. All right. Well, that one didn't get bumped. Thank heavens for that. Am I right? Am I right, gang? What else you guys got? Anything else from this game before we move on? I see Maxey over 2.5 rebounds. That seems like a pretty low number for Tyrese Maxey. I'll just quickly pull up a projection for that. We won't get too into the weeds on that particular prop, but got a projected for 2.3. Seems to be a betting favorite on all sites at 2.5. So most people are taking the over. The over on Tyrese Maxey at 2.5. Harden's assists. Yes, David, I do owe you that. Yes, James Harden, the beard, at 8.5 assists today. 8.5. I believe he was at 8 for the first game, right, against Boston. Ended up with 7 assists. Did not get the job done. Now, most games, I think most games as a member of the Philadelphia 76ers, Mr. Harden here had done pretty darn well covering this particular prop. But let's dig into it real quick. James Harden last season at just 8.5 assists. We got it all dialed in using props.cash. Shout out to props.cash for helping with our player prop research, making things easier, right? He was 51 of 78, a 65% hit rate at 8.5 dimes. But we need to kind of figure out, how did James Harden do as a member of the Philadelphia 76ers at 8.5 assists? Now, we're going to use StatMuse for this because I don't think there's a way to do it using props.cash. So we're going to go James Harden game logs. Well, let's back it up. Let's go James Harden Sixers game logs. See if this works. Perfect. That's what we were looking for, right? And then we've got the assist column here. You can see how many times he actually covered 8.5 as a member of the Philadelphia 76ers. So we go back to February 25th, his first game as a Sixer, 12, 16, 9. So that's hit, 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 miss, miss, hit, 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 miss, 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 hit, hit, miss, hit, 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 miss. A lot of hits in there. I would say, I don't know what the tally is, the total is. More hits than misses, right? I felt like I said hit more than I did say miss in that that little sequence there. But yeah, more often than not, he was hitting his assist prop. A lot of these games, I mean, he had some monster outputs, 13, 10, 14, 15, 14. So a lot of times being dropped by James Harden. So things look pretty good there. That was just the regular season, did not include any postseason play in that particular search query there on StatMuse. He did have 9 assists against the Milwaukee Bucks. That came on March 29th. So he did cover his assist prop of 8.5 the last time he played Milwaukee, right? All right, so let's get you a little projection here on James Harden at 8.5. Maybe the clamps get put on Harden tonight. Maybe he draws Drew Holiday or a tough matchup like Wes Matthews, and he's forced to pass more and facilitate more, and maybe he scores a little bit less tonight. I don't know. We're just throwing out a theory, right? He is at 9.5 dimes on most sports books. So we compare that to the 8.5 here on PrizePicks, and you're seeing one assist different, right? A difference of 1 assist. At 9.5, he is a betting favorite to go under, though. So I could see this line ending up at around 9. But I think right now at 8.5, we are getting value here. Let's say on the sports books, right, with the action being coming in being so heavy on the under at 9.5, I could see PrizePicks probably bumping this to 9 at one point or at some point in the near future. I'm just going to keep refreshing because maybe they already did. You just never know, right? Things are wild here on the live stream. But yeah, 8.5 assists. I'd probably lean toward the over right now because there's value on that. There's value on that based on what we see on your sports books here and the projections. So, all right, let's move on from this game. Let's move on from this one. I think we beat this one to death. I mean, there's 1,000 different props for the Philly-Milwaukee game, but we got a whole nother game that we have yet to talk about. So if you guys have any questions for me about the battle for LA, the Lakers, the Clippers, now is the time for you to leave those in the chat, and I'd be happy to take a look at those for you. Shout out to D'Angelo. He says, first time on the live stream for the season. What up, what up? What up to you, D'Angelo? Thanks for being here, brother. Let's see here. I know you guys had left some earlier in the chat. I could kind of scroll back and look at them a little bit. Zubac first half PRA. Interesting. Ivica Zubac going for more than his first half PRA at 9.5. I'll tell you this, last season I played a lot of Ivica Zubac fantasy score, which is at 11.5 tonight. And it ended up hitting quite a bit for me. And one way that you can kind of research first half fantasy scores is by using StatMuse like we've done already. So you go IVICA, Ivica Zubac, first half FanDuel points. Follow that up with the word logs, so you get those logs popping up. So we need them logs, right? Now you got to keep in mind, this was Kawhi Leonard without Kawhi Leonard. Paul George was in and out of the lineup. John Wall obviously wasn't on the team at this point, but at 11.5 fantasy score last season in the first half, my man Ivica Zubac did a pretty darn good job covering this. I mean, 25-9, 27-4, 17-7, 17-4, 12-6, 15-2. Some pretty good games here. 11.9, 16-6, 22-8, 18, 16.7, and so on and so forth. You could kind of see these little graphs, these little logs for yourself for fantasy score. So yeah, you could go fantasy score, you could go PRA on Ivica Zubac. It's a little bit of going into this situation sight unseen, right? With Kawhi, with PG back, with John Wall in the mix. I mean, we don't know what's going to happen, right? So I would say tread lightly on this LA Clippers squad, being that there are some unanswered questions, some variables that have changed from last season to this. I don't know that he's going to be the first half monster that he was last season. All right. Let's see here. What other LA Clipper, LA Laker props are you guys liking? Reggie Jackson assists over 3.5. That does sound kind of low. But again, we have to consider the fact that he's going to be next to two big usage monsters in Kawhi Leonard and Paul George, right? Reggie Jackson last season did pretty well with the 3.5 assists, but that was when he was pretty much kind of the lead ball handler, the guy running the show for the Clippers. I don't know if he's going to have the same role. He might be more of the score first Reggie Jackson. And Reggie Jackson does have the ability to put up some points. He can get buckets when he's engaged as a scorer. Now at 3.5 assists, you're going to see some pretty juicy hit rates here. 64%. He was 49 for 77 last season. Against the Lakers in particular, he covered in every single game. 8, 6, 6, and 9. Now you'd have to dig in a little deeper, figure out, was Kawhi in, was Paul George in, what was the situation, the dynamic on the team. Reggie Jackson, again, typically when Paul George is in, Paul George is facilitating. He's typically the guy kind of running the show. He's typically like a point forward. And then Reggie Jackson, he typically moves into a scoring role. From what I remember, I could be wrong. Guys, let me know in the chat. But if I remember correctly, Paul George in the lineup, Reggie scores a lot more, doesn't drop as many dimes. But the line is pretty low at 3.5. I will give you that. The line is pretty juicy at 3.5. But yeah, overall last season, Reggie was killing this prop because he was the primary ball handler, facilitator, the setup man for the Clippers when, Paul George, Kawhi Leonard were out. And yes, there is the John Wall factor. We've talked about that. He'll be coming off the bench. Reggie will be starting. But yeah, John Wall, how's that going to shake things up? There's a lot of different pieces, a lot of different what ifs, a lot of different question marks. Let's just jump ahead. We'll try to get you a projection. I hope they're accurate. I mean, it's early in the season, but I hope they're accurate. We've got Reggie projected for 4.2 dimes. He is a betting favorite, minus 135 to go over 3.5. So kind of going into this one blind, going into this one in the dark. But yeah, I think Paul George at 4.5 assists. I like that one a little bit better, man. I like seeing PG as a facilitator. I'm assuming he's going to get a full run of minutes, but that could be a better look, possibly. He's 1 assist higher than Reggie Jackson, 1 assist higher than Reggie, and I think his usage is going to be a lot higher than Reggie Jackson's will be. He's projected for 5.4. At 4.5, though, we're seeing him being bet under on your favorite sports books. But Paul George has the ability to get, 6, 7 assists when he's in that facilitator type of role. So, I don't know. For me, I'd probably go Paul George just because he doesn't have a guy like John Wall breathing down his neck coming off of the bench. He's not dealing with some sort of little nagging injury like Reggie Jackson is. Reggie Jackson is cleared to play. He will play tonight. He will start, but he is on the injury report. So maybe he's somewhat limited. You never know. But Paul George, he's going to be out there playing, right? His role, his minutes are pretty much cemented. So I think maybe I would prefer PG in this situation. That's just my take. You guys let me know if I'm crazy. Let me know if I'm crazy for thinking like that. What else we got, though? What else are we got? What else are we looking at here? We got LeBron James over for rebounds. LeBron James for more than 8.5 boards versus the Clips. LeBron James 8.5 boards versus the Clips. Have 14 against Golden State in game 1 of this young NBA season. 14. That's a lot of rebounds. If Anthony Davis is the center, LeBron's probably going to be your power forward. So maybe we see him getting on the glass tonight. You got a lot of long, lanky, tall type of guys, though, on that Clippers squad, right? You got Ivica Zubac. You got Paul George. You got Kawhi Leonard out there. Morris is another one. He's another forward out there. Clippers got a lot of size. I don't know if LeBron's going to have as easy of a time tonight against this Clippers team as he did against the Golden State Warriors in game 1, where you have 14 big boards. Now, dating back to last season, he's 27 for 57, 47% hit rate. Not a very good hit rate. That's less than a coin flip. We don't like that. We don't like less than a coin flip. We take a look at what he did against the Clippers. He played them 3 times, had 11, 11, and 8. Had some pretty good rebounding games. But again, you'd have to dig in a little deeper. Was Kawhi in? Was Paul George in? Who was active for the Clippers? Maybe he had an easier time going up against the likes of, Zubac, Morris, whoever else they had in there, Amir Coffey. But yeah, he did have some good rebounding games against the Clippers last season. But totally different Clippers squad probably tonight than the one that the King faced last time. Anyways, LeBron James, I got him projected for 9.2 rebounds. 9.2 at 8.5. We're seeing him across the board here at 8.5 on your favorite sports books and betting sites. He is a betting favorite at minus 125, minus 135. So the public is liking LeBron to go for at least 9 rebounds tonight. I mean, as far as the Lakers go, he will have plenty of rebound opportunities. Just worry about this matchup. I mean, look at these other guys that he's going up against. You got, we talked about Paul George, right? Ivica Zubac, Kawhi Leonard. He's going to be battling his own teammate, Anthony Davis. Russell Westbrook gets on the glass. So, that's kind of what you have to look forward to. Chat, appreciate all you guys. If you have not liked today's live stream, we're trying to run it up to 100 likes like we did yesterday. 99.5 is the line that I have set, and I have total faith in all of you out there that you will push us over 99.5 once again. Let's go for more than 99.5. I know it's a little 2-game slate, but it's an exciting 2-game slate. What else are you guys digging here? What else are you guys liking? Paul George under 11.5 rebounds plus assists. He is 2 for 7 versus the Lakers. That's an interesting tidbit. Desmond, thank you for sharing. Desmond had some good picks yesterday for the community. I think he ended up going 3 for 3 with the picks he suggested we play. So thank you, Desmond, for being a valued member of the Patreon community. Appreciate all your support. Desmond says, yes, LeBron over boards. No one after Anthony Davis to contest boards with. Well, yeah, Russell Westbrook and AD, that's about it. Lonnie Walker, not really going to be on the boards. Patrick Beverley, not really going to be on the glass either. It's more so who he's going to be fighting against on the Clippers side of things that worries me. Roy is saying, take Paul George for more than 2.5 3-pointers. Let's look at that one. Let's look at that one as we start to sort of wind down, wrap up things here on today's live stream. We're reaching that 1 hour mark. I try to keep these under an hour when I can. It seems like the slates where we have less games, I talk more for whatever reason. But yeah, Paul George at 2.5 3-point makes. We're going to have to take a look at this one using props.cash. Props.cash making life easy to look up Paul George and his 2.5 3-point makes. Now we're going back to last season, gang. He is 20 for 32 at 2.5 3-point makes, a 63% hit rate. 63% hit rate. That's pretty good. Most of the time, 63%. I like that. That's a good cover number. Anything 60, 70%, I mean, we should be interested, right? He averaged 3 3-point makes per game last season. Now against the Lakers, played them just once. Oh, it was on my birthday, December 3rd. He played them. 0 3-pointers made in that particular game. Did not shoot the ball very well. How many did he attempt? 7? Oh, boy. He was just cold that night. 0 for 7 against the Lakers back on December 3rd. So a very small game. Sample size. Very small sample size. Let's see if I can get you a projection for Mr. Paul George. PG-13. Got a projected for exactly 2.5 3-point makes. Well, that doesn't really help us a whole lot. But at 2.5 on your favorite sports betting sites, your favorite sports books, looks like the public's riding with the over here. -125, -130 on PG over 2.5 3-point makes. We'll probably hold off on that one. But if you're feeling some type of way about it, if you're liking it and you're feeling positive about it, hey, take it. You never know, right? You never know. It is still just the first game of the season for the Los Angeles Clippers. Anything can truly happen at this point. I think right now, early on in the NBA season, you just got to use this more than like projections and stuff like that. Got to use this more than anything. Stay on top of injury news. Stay on top of the happenings in the league and find some value. I think that's probably the best strategy early in the NBA season. Let's see. Andrew is asking, what are my favorite overall plays? Honestly, Andrew, today I'm just kind of taking a first look with you guys live together. I don't have anything nailed down, locked down, but some of the stuff that we've already talked about are ones that I'll be probably looking at a little bit closer. Guys like Grayson Allen should have more opportunity without Chris Middleton. That would be one that I could probably get on board with. We saw his points plus assists already get bumped, but you could still go with just his points if you wanted to. He was a very good first half points type of guy without Chris Middleton last season. This was one that hit at a pretty high clip last year. Let's revisit. Let's go down memory lane here. Grayson Allen, first half points. Logs without Chris Middleton. And once again, guys, we're using StatMuse, totally free site for you to go and look at this, but StatMuse, pretty good for looking up stuff like this. Now, this does not include any type of postseason games. These are just games that Grayson Allen has played without Chris Middleton. He was just 1 for his last 5, but prior to that, you can see he had a pretty good success rate here. 9, 11, 6, 13, 12, 17, 6, and 6. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 hits to 4 misses on his first half point prop at 5.5. So that could be a good way to go, right? Not too shabby. 9 for 13 overall in games without Chris Middleton. So that was one that we were going to a lot last season. Grayson Allen for more than 5.5 first half points. Let's take one more and then we'll wrap this up and we'll call it a day here on the live stream. I appreciate everyone for tuning in to the CJ Curry Show, the #1 prize picks prop show in the world. Thank you guys for being here. Let's look at 2-5's pick. Anthony Davis over 36.5 PRA. We have not talked any Anthony Davis props. No picks for Anthony Davis yet. So that's why I want to talk about that one. Let's look at Anthony Davis real quick. His PRA could be the way. He's at 36.5. Another way that you could go is Anthony Davis's fantasy score. He was at 42.5 in his first game against Golden State. He's at 46.5. So they've put him up 4 fantasy score points higher. So for me, I think AD, the ability to get the steals, the blocks, Anthony Davis, when he's engaged, he can rack up steals and blocks. I think I would prefer him as a fantasy score kind of guy. But although they did increase his points from 42.5 in his first game to 46.5, as they should, right? Because he did end up pouring in 46.2 fantasy. But if I was to choose between PRA or fantasy score for Anthony Davis, for me, I think I like AD as a fantasy score player, because you do get 3 points for every block, 3 points for every steal, and we know Anthony Davis has the ability to rack up those blocks and steals, when he's engaged, right? When he's not on the floor grabbing at something, getting hurt. Anyway, we haven't talked any fantasy score, so let's take a look at that now. We're going to use the FanDuel projections. So if you're playing fantasy score and you're looking at projections, make sure you're using FanDuel, right? He is projected for 47.2 fantasy score today. That's pretty tight. But if you remember last season, the Clippers were one of the most giving in all of the NBA when it came to fantasy score to centers. And in this case, Anthony Davis is the center for the Los Angeles Lakers. So if they're anything like they were last year, the Clippers defense, then attacking them with opposing bigs, a guy like Anthony Davis should have a pretty decent game. Getting some blocks, getting some steals and stuff like that. So for me, I think I like the fantasy score just a little bit more than I do the PRA, just because he does give you that block and steal upside, and those are worth 3 points apiece. And yes, T-Bone, Grayson Allen for first half fantasy score is also a very worthwhile choice. If you prefer taking the fantasy score for Allen at 5.5, I'm not mad at that either. That one did some work for us last season as well, but with that being said, guys, I think that's it. We've covered quite a bit today. Hopefully some of this research has helped you out. Hopefully tomorrow we'll have a lot more NBA games to talk about. Tonight, just a 2-game slate. You might want to go a little lighter on your entry amounts and how much exposure you have. There's some NFL going on. We got NHL. It's the sports solstice, right? All these things going on at the same time, all these different sports. So it's a really cool day to be a sports fan. Thank you, Keith, for subscribing. Guys, leave a like on your way out. Thank you, 2-5, for the subscription as well. I appreciate all the new subs. We'll catch you tomorrow, 12 p.m. Eastern time, right here on the YouTube. Appreciate you guys tuning into the show. Good luck tonight. Peace. you.